We are at Electronica India 2026 and this is the Delhi edition, and we are at Silicon Labs. Today with us we have Mr. Sam, who is the sales director for Silicon Labs. Hi Sam, pretty busy. I see a lot of customers out here.
Hi, I'm Sam, and welcome to Silicon Labs booth. Right, so today we want to showcase some of our technology here. Right?
Okay. Sam, India is rolling out millions of smart meters. We are leaps and bounds in the renewable industry. How is Silicon Labs Vysan technology the best choice for the country's massive crowded power grid? How you are helping the customers in this?
Silicon Labs Vysan technology is actually very ideal for the massive smart meter rollout in India. There's about 250 million meters that is planning to be rolled out by 2027. So we hope to be a big part of that. So Vysan mesh itself is a standard-based mesh, sub-gigahertz. It has very good auto healing. It's able to operate in the very dense network. You can scale it up, and we have done a lot of tests, right? So for example, in one of our in-house tests, we are always running 1,000 nodes, and it's been going on for years now. So it's very stable, it's very reliable. And on top of that, we have security for our Vysan. So it's very robust, high speed, and it should be able to meet the service level agreement of the Indian authority or the AMISP.
So any case study without naming the client, I mean, how your Vysan has helped your customer? Any case study that you'd like to share to our readers?
Yes, in fact, we just have our first mass rollout of Vysan through one of our customers. And I can only disclose at this point, I won't disclose customer name, but we have rolled out close to 1 million units this year.
Okay.
So that's on Vysan. Even before this Vysan rollout, for the past 2 years, every year we ship between 5 to 10 millions of a non-Vysan base. So there is a migration towards Vysan right now. Right. So just one more thing to talk about Vysan is that Vysan is free of charge, and there is no monthly subscription like cellular. So we hope that our customer understand that over a period of time there's actually a lot of cost saving.
So I mean, was this migration very tough, or you have used this migration relatively easier?
I would say for mesh network it requires a certain amount of work for sure, right? There's field trial, there is a lot of externalities, environmental issues that sometimes confuse our customers, especially a lot of them are very new to running a mesh network.
So you are kind of hand-holding your customers to adopt?
Yes, in many instances we really have to help the customer with optimization of the schematics, optimization of the Gerber file to make sure they have a perfect range. And then the mesh software itself, there is a bigger learning curve, so we do have to guide them along.
Has the power consumption is very different from non-mesh to mesh?
Non-mesh to mesh, so when you say non-mesh, you're probably referring to point-to-point. All right, so with Vysan, there is a limited function node, LFN. There's full function node. The LFN node is meant for battery operation, so it does operate and with a battery device as well, like such as a water meter. It does work with that.
Okay. So now you are putting AI chips directly into your wireless hardware. What is one practical way that Indian factory or home will actually feel the benefit for faster AI?
Starting from 2 years ago when we launched BG24, which is on display on the booth here, so we have started to add AI ML accelerator on most of our newer chipset. So with AI ML accelerator, inferencing is about 8 times faster. So this enables edge intelligence. So what is edge intelligence? Instead of having to go back to a cloud server to do some number crunching, pattern identification, you could do it on the chip. So one example used is in a factory, for example, in an industrial factory, there's always a lot of motors, a lot of moving parts, vibrations. So with the sensors attached to our chip, you can identify extreme vibration pattern or extreme sound. You can, of course, with an acoustic sensor. And from there, you can do a local processing to see whether there's any anomaly. And then with that, the chipset, if you identify any anomaly, it can actually inform a technician operator to say there is a potential problem with the machinery, and then technicians can have a schedule of planned maintenance rather than a reactive catastrophic failure, and that usually takes a lot of downtime. You got to order the parts and all that.
So, being you are integrating ML, so there is a lot of data generation happening. Correct. So, how it is helping to improvise your newer product? How has you incorporated that in your newer updates? Anything that you'd like to share with us?
We wouldn't say it's a lot of it's a lot of data, but it's not as much as those like NVIDIA and AMD and all that for sure, right? So basically the local data crunching, it does fairly simple job. It identifies acoustic differences, it identifies a vibration, some standard patterns. So it's fairly easy to maintain. And we basically will carry this concept forward with most of our new chipset.
Okay. So now your new Bluetooth distance sensing technology charge and how we unlock cars, is it safer than the keyless system, or how do you take it? I mean, put it in front of your customer to adopt.
So you're referring to channel sounding, Bluetooth 6.0 channel sounding. So we have been promoting it very perversely for the last 2 to 3 years by now. So Bluetooth channel sounding is unlike the traditional RSSI based distance measurement. So RSSI is basically signal level. It's prone to a lot of interference in a crowded or jam environment like this. It doesn't work very well. We are talking about few meters, 10 meters, 15 meters. It's very difficult to identify. So for channel sounding, it uses phase-based ranging and a round trip measurement, a round trip management. So there is it's able to go down to 1 meter accuracy versus the typical 5, 10. And when it goes down to this kind of accuracy, it enables a whole array of application. So for example, in a place, I can really have a zonal identification. This person is here, this device is exactly there, with this sort of accuracy. And with this sort of 1 meter accuracy, we can also really enable a good passive entry, right? We have our phone, in fact, a lot of new phone, right, is going to be equipped with a channel sounding. You can walk to your cars with your phone, it knows that you are within 1 meter before you unlock. You don't really want your car to unlock the door when you are 10, 15, 20 meters or even 50 meters when there is a signal. So, and in that sense, it's a form of security by itself.
Okay. The Matter standard aims to make a smart devices talk to each other. How is Silicon Labs helping Indian brands or Indian manufacturers to make or brands to make devices more smarter?
So Silicon Labs has been in the smart home business for many years. In fact, we are one of the early incumbents, starting from Z-Wave, Zigbee days. And as things evolve into Matter, over our years of experience, we have collected a whole suite of hardware and software solution that is really robust. So we provide Matter library, Matter over Wi-Fi and Matter over Thread on our MG24, MG26, and Matter over Wi-Fi on the 917. And hopefully soon we'll be announcing a range of chipset, a new Wi-Fi chipset that will also support Matter over Wi-Fi. Right, so these are all very established, tried and tested libraries that the customer can put to ease when they use it.
So you are into business of this technology. Your devices that you make may have a life of 10 plus years at some places. How do you make sure that it consistently gives the helps the requirement of customers to lifelong for its life of 10 years? How do you maintain that quality?
We are already doing that for many years. So it's in our lifeblood to make low power wireless MCUs. Since we start selling MCU, the corporate always focus on it has to be low power, it has to be able to run well on the battery. So we have already shipped hundreds of millions of devices running on the coin cell battery that can last 5 to 10 years easily. Tried and tested, so customer can rest assured when they use it. So how do we do it? It's not just through basic data sheet, active current. So most of our devices have intelligent energy modes, so you can really plug and use exactly what you need to use. And on top of that, there are features like RF Sense. So RF Sense is a technology where where a wireless device, it doesn't really always wake up to sense or listen to other RF data, right? You just there's RF sense that's running just to listen to a small packet of data, and it goes to sleep. And when you run that, you can run, for example, at about 170 nanometers of current.
Okay.
Yeah, it is very energy effective.
So finally, you have been in India, and what is one challenge that you see when you acquire new client or your existing client in India? What is one problem that you want to address which helps Indian customers? One problem that you face very often in India?
I would say that we are a wireless company, so a lot of time we are just selling wireless. So I've been selling wireless in India for over 15 years, probably 20 years. So the biggest challenge I see with customers is that there is insufficient knowledge base. Right, a customer may be really good in doing an embedded design. They may not be very experienced with wireless design. So there are times where they will change the component. They don't have the perfect factory that etch a good PCB and it affects RF range. So that is the biggest hurdle. So what we do is that we provide a lot of references, design. We provide references, and when the customers started making their schematics and Gerbers and PCB, we guide them along the way. We help to review their Gerber along the way, and even with that, we do still see a lot of challenges. Right, I think that would be the biggest hurdle that I see.
So basically, you help in the product development cycle of the customer also.
Yes. We for RF, a lot of customer does need a guide. All right, if we leave it to them, it could take 1 year, 2 years. But with a good guide, with a good optimization by our application engineer, it can take 1 to 2 weeks for a perfect layout.
Great, Sam. It was lovely speaking to you, and we wish you all the best. I can see a lot of customers waiting for you. I'll not take much of your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And